guys, how you doing? This is Manga etc. and I'm here today to bring you the review for One Piece Manga chapter 956. Now this chapter more than ever makes me really wish that we had a full-blown Reverie arc. I know we had a couple of chapters about the Reverie, just before it started off, whatever, and then we got the news of what's going on. I think it was like in the middle of one, like we find out that how the revolutionary have gone up against the admirals, and we're gonna get possibly more flashbacks down the line, and we're finding out the news via the news Morgans this way. But I do believe, because I think that they've done this so they can Oda can have the fans, the readers, whatever, in the suspense of, oh my gosh, what happened? Because this is exactly what this chapter did. The whole time I was reading this chapter, I was thinking, just hurry up and tell me what went down. What's going on? What's going on? Just hurry up and just tell me what's going on. But I do believe we could have I do believe there's ways you could have executed a full blown Reverie arc and still have this chapter. Obviously, it wouldn't have been chapter 956, but still have this chapter. So yeah, I am disappointed because we didn't get a full blown Reverie arc, and yeah, it's just a disappointment. I am going to be happy to finally know what happens when we do finally find out what happens, but I would have very much, very much rathered a full-blown Reverie arc, and I cannot stress that enough, and I cannot be the only one that feels that way. But let's talk about this chapter. So within this chapter, the Reverie's done, and we are finding things out, I guess, via flashback and news reportings. Yeah. But we'll basically find out stuff went down during the Reverie, and we're not exactly told what has happened. There's a lot of guesswork going on, but there's three things that are mentioned. Something happened involving the Arabasta Kingdom. Something happened to Sabo and the revolutionaries that he was with, and then the one that is told to us, the no more Shibubukai. So, as we know, if you read the chapter and just previous stuff, what hits the newspapers is not always true. Morgan said this himself within this chapter. So I'm going to go through, for the rest of them, what I think was printed and what I think actually happened. But first I've got to give my boy Morgan's his props, because he got a visit from CP. Firstly, offer him hush hush money, keep that information to yourself, some hush hush money. But when he rejected the hush hush money, actually I'm CP0. I mean, not CP0, but actually I'm CP doggy. But Morgan stood his ground and he was able to beat this guy up. So I'm gonna give Morgan his props for that. But let's talk about the stuff that's printed within the newspaper. So the stuff involving the Alabasta Kingdom, I think we don't get told what was printed in the newspaper, but I think whatever was printed was the bona fide truth, and this is what Mr. CP came to silence. So what I think here happened involving the Alabasta Kingdom is that I think King Cobra, I think that's the king of the Alabasta Kingdom. I think King Cobra was killed because he was asking too many damn questions. I think they killed him off, and I think the person that killed him off was someone like, say, an admiral, or basically it's someone who works for the government anyway. I'm gonna go with admiral. Anyway, someone from the government killed off King Riku. So King Cobra. Obviously, Morgan's found this out. That's not a very good look for the world to know, King getting killed off by a government official. So, that's why they're saying the hush hush money. But no, Morgan's printed that. So that's what I think happened with that. And, obviously, yeah, that's what printed into the newspaper as well. The second thing that I want to talk about is this way as well in terms of the cyber stuff. The cyber stuff. So what I think was printed in the newspaper regarding Sabo and the Revolutionary Army is that they killed off Sabo. So what I think was printed in the newspaper was that Sabo was killed, and the rest of the Revolutionary Army that was accompanying Sabo have been captured. And the reason why I think that is because there was a lot of distress about Sabo, and we see all the people just think about Sabo. We see McKinno, I think her name is. She wasn't able to open her bar. She's distressed. That shows distress about something. There was the mention about how this was Dadan's group, I think it was, about how we didn't know he was alive, and but now this kind of vibe. So I think what was printed was that he was killed, because this would send a message. Also, if it is printed in the newspaper, this would send a message to the rest of the Revolutionary armies, because you need to remember the Revolutionary Army are like the world government's #1 threat. So they would want to send a message to revolutionary. We took your second in command. Don't mess with us, kind of vibe. And we got the rest of you guys in lockup. So that would send that kind of message out there. At least I believe that would send that kind of message out there. So that's what I think was printed in the newspaper. However, I think the truth of the matter is they have all been captured. Now, granted, I don't know how this could have been possible. They had superior numbers. So I gotta take a break. So I was cooking food, so I was gonna just quickly turn that off, but now I'm back to record. But as I was saying, I think they've all been captured. Now, granted, I don't know how this could be possible. They had the numbers. Maybe they underestimated what they was going into to do, but they have somehow just all been captured, and possibly being sent to Impa Down. Or maybe input down for now, but I really do think, I don't know, but yeah, I don't think Sabo is dead at this present moment in time. I don't see why they would kill him off. They have done very little with him since he's been, back. Before, people thought they would kill him off, but I don't see why Oda would bring him back now and not have him, do anything impressive at all and be killed off so soon. So regardless of if he was captured or whatever, at this present moment in time, I honestly to God don't think he's dead. I'm gonna leave it at that. So we do find out that there is no more Shichibukai. Fair enough. I personally do not think they were doing their jobs anyway. All of them were using the title for their own gain. And I know they're supposed to come to the aid of the government when called upon. But even when they came when called upon, like for the war, for the Whitebeard War, they only came really to show face, keep the title, or just their own personal amusement or agenda going on there. So yeah, forget this whole warlord title thing. Forget being a government dog, because they weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing. Anyway, what I don't get is that yeah, okay, cool. The government has gotten ridden of the warlord title, but you felt the need to go round all of them up straight away, like really? Like maybe because you knew the locations, like, but really? I honestly do not see this going well for any party. For any party. Now, granted, we don't know who's gone for who, but Buggy has numbers behind him. No, not literally the numbers. Like he's got quantity to his crew now. And a Mihawk looks excited by the fact that people will be coming over again. Boa Hancock is not worried. She herself states they have forgotten why we were Shishibukai in the first place, and we will have completely forgotten about. He seems fine as well. Mom's got him, even though he's protected, so he's good. But One thing I do want to mention, and now I don't know if this was like, lost in translation. You've got to remember these are fan translations. Manga Stream is not the official release. But Blackbeard says, "Alright, men, boys, time to go to sea. If the Marines want them, I'll collect them for myself." If this is referring to Blackbeard collecting the Shichibukai, I don't see why any of them would align with Blackbeard. Boa Hancock, she's her own woman. She's not doing it. Mihawk, hell no. The only likely person I would see lining with Blackbeard is Buggy, but that would be Buggy like if he was by himself with his old crew with that, because now he's got quantity to his crew. I don't think he would do it. So maybe he was off them for other reasons. Maybe he was after like Boa Hancock, Buggy. I'm not sure, but maybe he was off. He was doing his whole devil hunting fruit thing, and he's going through the Shichibukai who have devil fruits. But I honestly don't think he would be in a position to be recruiting any Shichibukai, regardless of his Yoko status. But that's just me. That's just my thinking. So I think that's it. The last thing I do want to mention is that how Wapo leaked some information. Again, I'm worried about that. And another thing that took me by surprise within this chapter is to find out that X Drake is a double agent. He's not an ex-Marine. He's just pretending to be an ex-Marine while still working with the Marines. And within this chapter, we find out that CP0 are on the scene at Wano. So I don't know if they're just going to stay silent and watch things unfold, or they're going to get involved. But the Alliance does need some more numbers, which, if it is CP0, wait, was it mentioned to be CP0? Yeah, CP0. Was it? Anyway, having CP on the scene could add some quality, sorry, that's the word I'm looking for, to our alliance that we have present, and some numbers as well, because they don't need numbers to increase if they want to get this job done. So overall, I liked this chapter. It kept me on the edge of my seat reading it, just fun to and saying to myself, hurry up, I want to know what happened. But I am always going to remain in the camp of I wish we had a full-blown Wolverine arc. I think this chapter deserves a 4-star rating. I'm going to call it a review. Like always, guys, I'm asking for your thoughts and opinions. If you haven't already, please go to my YouTube channel. But most importantly, take care. Have a nice day.